is the business opportunity for Cisco? How do you charge? Is this a consulting business? Is it a software business? What is the business for you guys?
So the Cisco EOS platform specifically is a hosted service, and we are primarily driven by an advertising revenue share business model. And that's because we want to share in the risk with media companies as well as help them grow into the new era. So we do have a kind of a nominal licensing fee to kind of help us get this business up and off the ground while the advertising really scales. But our business is different than the rest of Cisco. We're selling advertising. Now, of course, people will look at this business and say, hey, this is also going to drive a lot more video on the network, or potentially drive a lot more device sales of things like flip video cameras as people want to get into the experience of taping or videoing and then uploading to a website. All of that is true, and we do hope that it'll drag along some follow-on business, but the core EOS business is all about advertising rev share.
So how does that work? Are you selling advertising, or you mean the publishers do, and they give you a percentage, or how does that work?
What we do is we provide the platform. We're helping them create a whole bunch of new high-value inventory, not only in display advertising, but video, sponsorship, potentially other more innovative ad modules that people are working on. So yes, they sell the ads. We provide the platform. One of the things that we really want to make sure that media companies know is that Cisco is not trying to get into their business. They know advertising, they know brand, they know content, we know technology, right? And we want to provide technology to them so they can get out of the technology business and focus on what they know best, which is telling great stories.
So what is the big challenge to these media companies in succeeding in the digital world, and how are you trying to solve that?
They have plenty of challenges, right? One of the big ones is how do they make digital or online a meaningful, sustainable business? And one of the first issues they have is building a technology platform or finding a technology platform that allows them to engage audiences. Today, a lot of the media companies are going out there and creating do-it-yourself, homegrown platforms. And I liken that to kind of Frankenstein's monster, because they have to go get bits and pieces from around the technology ecosystem, a blogging tool here, a content management system there, and they bolt it together into Frankenstein's monster that they have to care and feed for. So one of the biggest challenges they're facing today is the cost and complexity of building those homegrown solutions that maybe aren't specifically built to scale across tens or hundreds of sites that they may want to put up. The economic downturn and the tough times for advertising has actually made it somewhat easier for us to make our sell, because for the first time, media companies are really faced with looking at both sides of the general ledger. They're realizing I'm spending a lot of times 75 to 125% of their digital revenue on developing the technology platform, right? Yeah, I see eyebrows go up. That's it's not a standard for every company, but when you really tally up the total cost of ownership, when you look at all the web design, all the servers, the back end, the custom development, the integration, if you actually look at all the costs that go into building these platforms, they're spending a lot of money. And so on the first part of the equation, if we can help them reduce their costs by 40, 50, 60%, and move this into a hosted solution where they can build on top of the platform, but they don't have to do all the custom integration. They don't have to continue to pay all the engineers to do development and everything else, and they can build content to the platform. It makes the cost equation a lot better. And then what we hope is through the collection of anonymous behavioral data about what the audience is using and watching and interacting, we can add value to the advertising stream when it comes back. One thing people ask us is, why build destination sites when the audience isn't necessarily there? Well, one of the pieces of research we had early on showed that like 36% of fans always go to the branded experience for their favorite book, film, TV, artist, whatever their favorite entertainment content is, because they assume they've got the latest and greatest, right? So step one for us was create those destination sites, because if you have 36% of your audience going there anyway, you should capture them and engage them before they watch a whole bunch of videos and then go somewhere else to talk about them, right? So that's step one. Step two, and what you're starting to see EOS do a lot more, is become a syndication hub for that content to push it out to places like Facebook or MySpace or unaffiliated fan sites to try to attract audience back to the branded experience. Now, not everyone's going to come back to the branded experience, and we know that, right? But we want to make sure that the media companies can leverage their investment in the brands and the platform to pull audience back, to engage them, and where possible have a longer term relationship with those fans.